I'm Robert Martinez. I'm the state historian of New Mexico. Welcome to New Mexico History in 10 Minutes. Well, between the years 1542 and 1598, there were a few expeditions into New Mexico. Spain, New Spain to the south, Mexico City, the viceregal capital, they had kind of given up on New Mexico, forgot about New Mexico for a while. But really, it's by the 1580s, after about 40 years pass, a little over a generation, maybe 2 generations, that Spain starts to take interest in this part of the world again. There's always interest in mineral wealth and souls to convert, but there's also new pressures in the East. British colonists are starting to expand, and so are French operations. So Spain needs to protect her own wealth to the south, and so a couple of expeditions are sent north to see about the possibility of establishing a colony. I'd mentioned Chamuscado Rodriguez expedition of 1581. They come up and explore into the Pueblo territories through what's now Isleta and then over into Pecos. And they go down and report at Santa Barbara, a mining town. And there's a guy there named Antonio de Espejo who has a great interest in this area. He's kind of a dodgy character. He and his brother had been accused of murder and had fled up to that northern community. And he takes interest in New Mexico. So he explores in 1583, and he has a pretty glowing report about the Pueblo people. He talks about how well ordered and clean their communities are, that they were very, very welcoming of him. Apparently, at least from his perspective, they had forgotten the terrors and the abuses of the Coronado expedition. And he talks about how they were very welcoming. They provided food for Espejo and his soldiers, beans, turkey, corn, pumpkin. So he goes south, and he wants to colonize New Mexico. And so he goes to Spain to get permission, but he dies en route. So that idea goes away. But significant to this time period, the 1580s, these expeditions, is that this is when New Mexico is actually named New Mexico. In Spanish, of course. We have to go back to the 1580s and remember, there was no nation of Mexico. If we could take a time machine back to 1580, 1680, 1780, even 1810, if we were to say, voy a Mexico, I'm going to Mexico, everyone would understand that you meant the city of Mexico, la Ciudad de Mexico. So what we start seeing in documents around the 1580s is this part of the world referred to as La Nueva Mexico. Before that, it was Cibola, or whatever term they had at the time, but it wasn't New Mexico. But it's called La Nueva Mexico in the feminine because the area was named after the city of Mexico, and in Spanish, city, ciudad, is feminine, la ciudad. So it's kind of interesting. We know in Spanish now we call New Mexico Nuevo Mexico, but in the late 1500s, even into the 1600s, and documents in the 1700s, you'll see this area referred to as La Nueva Mexico, named after the city of Mexico. And the idea was that Tenochtitlan, La Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City, was such a success for the Spaniards with mineral wealth, gold, thousands and thousands of native peoples to convert and at least try to turn them into Spanish subjects. So what happens is there's this idea that if other centers of wealth could be found, they would be another Mexico, otra Mexico, una nueva Mexico, a new Mexico, a new Mexico City. So that was the hope. So there's this idea that if they came north, they would find a new Mexico. So that's how we get our name. So there's that 1583 Espejo expedition. Those are authorized. And then I mentioned earlier, 1590, Castaño de Sosa from Nueva León, Monterrey area of Mexico. That's northeast Mexico today. He brings an expedition of people from that part of the world, Spanish colonists. He actually comes here to colonize. And it's illegal. It's an illegal entrada. It's an illegal colonization. He doesn't get permission from anyone from Mexico City. He just brings a group of people up from that part of the world into New Mexico. They reach Pecos Pueblo, but the governor of Nueva León and the viceroy are not too happy about this. So he is arrested. Soldiers are sent up to get him and to bring the colonists back. So that was an aborted attempt at colonizing New Mexico in 1590. And there's some whispering that group might have been made up of Judaizantes, crypto-Jews. A Judaizante was a person who had been baptized Catholic and was outwardly Catholic, but would go home and secretly practice Judaism, the religion of their ancestors. So there's that. And we have to remember that these are the 1580s, the 1590s. We're barely 100 years after the end of the Reconquista in Spain and the expulsion of the Jews and the Moors, the Muslims. So think about that. It's right now it's 2020. If you could go back to 1920 or 1910, that would be the era of my grandfather. So he and his father, in that context, could have been soldiers in those Moorish wars. So there's still people running around Spain and New Spain who are Semitic. They're part Jewish and they're part Muslim, and they're Spanish Catholics, of course, but they have cultural memories from their grandparents' generation. So we have this situation happening as well. So what we are getting to now is 1595, 1596. It's finally decided that New Mexico needs to be conquered and colonized. So, in typical Spanish fashion, bids are put out for wealthy Spaniards in New Spain, Nueva España, to offer their services to the crown and to the church to do this. And I've said this before. Remember, these were business transactions. Yes, the crown would support these ventures, but you had to be a wealthy, powerful man so that you could recruit, so you could arm your colonists, so you could support priests that you would bring along. And so word goes out, and a number of men throw their name in the hat for the colonization of New Mexico. One of them was Juan de Oñate from Zacatecas, the son of Cristobal de Oñate, the wealthy conquistador of Guadalajara and founder of Zacatecas. Ultimately, he wins the contract. And so he starts recruiting. And he's recruiting people from all over. The word is sent out. You can imagine the town criers in the plaza, the Zócalo of Mexico City, making announcements that there's going to be a colonizing expedition to the northern country, La Nueva Mexico. He probably recruits in his town, city of Zacatecas. So we have people there who become part of the expedition. And what you get is a group of people that is a mix of Spanish colonial society in New Spain. You have men from Spain, Spaniards from New Spain, Native Americans are going to be part of the expedition, Africans, mixed blood people, mulattoes, mestizos. It's going to be a wild ride to the north with human beings, animals, culture, and conflict. So next time, we're going to talk about Juan de Oñate and his colonizing expedition to New Mexico in 1598. Hasta luego. Bye.